Hi folks, and welcome to the More Than Your Labels podcast, where I chat to everybody and anybody who has a neurodiverse condition and those who haven't, and how it either hinders them or helps them. It's their story, their way, warts and all. So let's ditch any label that any of us have been given, and let's stand loud and proud as we are more than any label. So let's get in more onto the conversation. More Than Your Labels Facebook group, where we talk about mindset, procrastination, where we celebrate all our wins, big and small. See you on the other side, folks. So hello everybody, and welcome to the More Than Your Labels podcast. I have got the fabulous, the most hilariously funny Michael Weizman. How we doing? And he's just put a red nose on. Oh, I'm going to be laughing all the way through this. I can see it now. So, hello, how are you doing? And
doing good, Karen. How are you?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. So, who do you help? What do you do? Tell us all about yourself.
Well, I'll take my 62 years of life experiences and try to condense it as much as I can. The most important thing that I'm speaking and performing all over because we have a major problem in our world, and it's mental health. And it's been bad even way before the pandemic. From my perspective, I believe that we need to do more in all areas, from schools to organizations, and make it a topic to talk about all the time. So that's number one. But regarding me...
Exactly. Not shove it under the carpet. Get it out, shake it all about, do whatever you need to do, but build awareness.
I tell people in my workshop to take your mask off to mental health issues, mental health challenges, mental illness, which I don't like using that word illness anymore. I use my Dr. Rob Kelly one, mental injury. I love that word, or mental health injury or brain injury. Because this is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's the brain. And there is no difference if you have a brain injury or if you have a broken arm. But our society in our world doesn't believe that. They think that having a mental illness is really, really bad, and you're a monster and you can catch it. It's ridiculous.
It's because they can't see it, touch it, taste it, feel it.
Yeah.
And they're scared, but...
So for me, Karen, it all started really when I was 5 or 6 years old. I don't know if you remember when you were 5 or 6 years old. I do, because I had a lisp and I used to stutter. And when you're 5 or 6 years old and you have a lisp and you used to stutter, the kids make fun of you. Mm-hmm. So I had a little bit of trauma at the age of 5 and 6 years old. So then I was able to deal with that and see a speech pathologist, and I'm doing fine. So all those childhood years were fine, even up until high school. And then basically when I turned 16, that's when all hell broke loose. At 16, what are you doing? You're going, at least in the United States, that might be different in the UK, you go for your license. You get your, to drive a car. Mm. So I went to do my road test. I failed my road test 3 times. When you fail your road test 3 times and you're with all your friends and acquaintances and everyone, you can't even go to parties. I mean, how am I going to go to parties? They're going to ask me, what car do I drive? You passed your road test? And I really had to isolate. So I learned the word of isolation, which I'll get into in a little bit about right now. There's been a lot of isolation because of the pandemic. Yeah. So I didn't want to go to parties and stuff because I called myself a loser. I really put myself down. I had no self-esteem. I couldn't pass a road test 3 times. That's crazy. So finally I passed it, and then had a kind of a normal high school years. Not good in tests.
No, I'm not either.
Road tests, taking exams. I get nervous. I get so nervous. So I was not good with tests. But then I went through my high school years, and then I went to college, and I was able to just get by and graduate. So that was good. Came out of college, and struggled finding a decent job. It was bad. All my friends had great jobs out of college, but Michael Weitzman couldn't get a decent job. So I finally, in 1987, got into the mortgage industry, and I just was about to get fired. And then my manager got a heart attack, which is not a good thing for him.
No.
But it became a good thing for me because we had a different manager, and I went with the attitude is I'm going to show them that they're making the mistake if they're going to fire me. And I just kicked butt, and I just dominated in the mortgage industry. I was one of the best follow-up and service guys. I learned how to network and deal with personalities to get people to use my product, which happened to be mortgages. And I just dominated for a good 20 years. But during those times, the money that I made was my antidepressant. I was still suffering what? In silence. That's the thing I wanted to talk about. We suffered in silence. For me, during those years, for 25 years, even when I was in the mortgage industry and making some money, but I was commissioned, so their income would go up and down. I would still have times of being depressed, worried, how am I going to pay? Then I had 2 children. I got married before. I got married, had 2 children. So I had a lot of stress on me to make high numbers, which I used to make. And that was the antidepressant. The money was the antidepressant, but I didn't go and get help. For 25 years, I suffered in silence. My parents were my best support staff, but they had no idea. They had no idea that I was just having this mental illness. I knew something was going on, but what? I didn't do anything. Stigma, what friends and family would say, and
the whole 9 yards. Yeah.
And then when I finally went and got help in 1999, that's after 25 years, I said to my wife, now she's my ex-wife, I went to her and I said, I'm going into a hospital and I'm going to see a psychiatrist. I'm going to take meds. First, it was not the hospital, just taking the medicine and seeing a psychiatrist and a therapist. She said, if you go take medicine or have to go into a psychiatric hospital, I'm going to divorce you. So that's pretty, I would say, very loving and very supportive, don't you think? Obviously not.
And that's why you got rid of her. Anyway.
So the bottom line was I suffered after those 25 years where I finally suffered in silence. I came out of the mental health closet. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Which is called acceptance and opening up, which I'll get into my workshop. But that's the most important thing. It's just like people having opioid problems or addictions or suicide thoughts or any type of mental health condition. If you are not going to go seek help, or first, before you even seek help, accept the fact that you have something going on, you're never going to get better. So dealing with acceptance and opening up, I finally got help. And what did I do? I got on the triangle in 1999. The psychiatrist, the meds, and the talker. Mine was a therapist. And I was on that, triangle for over 14 years. Over 15 years. So it was 25 in silence and then 15 years doing the triangle. I was seeing that type of psychiatrist. I was seeing that type of psychiatrist. I was seeing that type of therapist. I was getting different type of medicine. I was seeing a different type of therapist. So I call it the Lay's Potato Chip Syndrome Award, which means you just can't have just one psychiatrist, one type of medicine, or one type of therapist. It takes a long...
one shoe doesn't fit all, or one box doesn't fit all either. It needs to be tailored to you.
It took me 40 years, Karen, to find the right combination. So I found finally, after 40 years, I was able to find the right psychiatrist that actually was able to talk to me for 45 minutes. Psychiatrists don't talk anymore. Their wrists are killing them for writing prescriptions all day long. So I have a great psychiatrist. I have a great therapist, and I was on a medicine that was finally going to help me. But before all of this, finally I got to the promised land, and I'll get into the wellness tools and my workshop. I was struggling for those 15 years. struggling, having anger, overreacting to things. I have anxiety, stress, worry, beating myself up. That was happening for 25 years on and off, and then mainly and heavily for 15 years from 1999 to 2014. So that was the thing. So besides all these struggles, I was in, until my last one, I was in basically altogether 6 psychiatric hospitals, 4 outpatient clinics. I had 22 ECT treatments. That's when they shock your brain. I had shingles on my face twice in 9 months, which is crazy. You never get it that for twice on my face, which is painful. And then I did the ultimate on January 2nd, 2008. I don't tell you how or what I do. I use these gloves in a way to have suicide take my life. Thank God it didn't work. It was a lame attempt. Thank God I was just crying for help. I was at a crisis center parking lot, and they found me, and I got committed. So again, been into all these psychiatric hospitals, but it didn't what? The same theme. I didn't get and stay mentally well. I was able to make a beautiful here's my most beautiful thing here. My bobblehead doggy I did for art therapy at a psychiatric hospital. That didn't get me well.
No.
It didn't get me to the promised land.
Because you need to start peeling the layers, don't you? That's why they need to get to the crux of finding you, and you need to find you again.
Yeah.
Not painting. That's what I think anyway.
So the thing was for me, Karen, is that with all these different struggles and everything that was going on, I couldn't get and stay mentally well. Doing the triangle, psychiatrist, that couldn't find the right combination until finally I told you in 2014. But before that, I had everything. I couldn't get and stay mentally well. So what happened is on August 11th, do you have any idea what happened on August 11th, 2014?
No.
A guy named Robin Williams, basically, I call that suicide, and Lewy body dementia took Robin Williams' life. And I am the biggest Robin Williams fan. I do comedy. I love all his humor. I love all his movies. I consider him an underrated actor. My favorite movie is Patch Adams, his most amazing movie about in so many different ways. But Lewy body dementia and suicide took Robin Williams' life. On August 11, 2014, I got unbelievably more sick with my depression, bipolar. That's what I was diagnosed at, by depression, bipolar in 1999. So after we got sick, I couldn't get better. I wasn't on the triangle. I'm still on the triangle, but I couldn't find the right combination yet. And then all of a sudden, in 2014, October 16th, 2014, I went into my hopefully last and 6th psychiatric hospital. And while I was in that hospital, I had a divine intervention, I have to admit. I know all about the Patch Adams movie, seen it many times before I went in. And I said to myself, Michael, you don't have to be like Robin. You don't have to be like his type of humor or whatever he does. But you can be this amazing, memorable, powerful spokesman in this world, helping everybody with their mental health, challenges, addiction, suicide thoughts, and all these different things. So while I was in a psychiatric hospital, Karen, just like Patch did in his own movie, when Patch Adams did, I came up with the 3 Amigos of mental health in a psychiatric hospital, my 6th psychiatric hospital. And while I was there, I said, what is the goal? The goal is I wanted to finally get and stay mentally well. That's the goal.
Fantastic. I think everybody needs to be staying mentally well, whatever they're doing, regardless of who they are, what they are, whether they've got a diagnosis or not. We all need to be mentally well to survive this world, I reckon.
No doubt. So while I was in there, I came up with my workshop. I came up with things called Bipolar Gum. That's right. I have Bipolar Gum. So that goes like this. So now you too can have the taste and the feel of having bipolar. That's right. You have the taste and feel of having bipolar, but don't worry. Each stick comes with free hospitalization, ECT treatments, and permission to run naked in your local shopping mall. I've done that 3 times. So chew up, ladies and gentlemen. Chew up. And I got schizophrenia mint gum coming out next week. Again, what was my workshop about? What is my stories about? About having fun with your mental health, not making fun, having fun, doing stuff, having things like, look, you've ever seen this? You have almond joy in your country? Make it mental joy. Change it around. Have some fun here. It's just a brain, and we need to, remember, it's just a brain injury. As my friend Dr. Rob Kelly, I'm always plugging him. He came up with. I took it from him. So these are things. So I worked on my workshop, came up with ideas, and what was the 3 Amigos of mental health all about? It's about 3 things. One, if you're 3 Amigos of mental health, it's either you're suffering with your mental health condition. Number 2, you're either suffering in silence with your mental health condition, or number 3, you're not suffering at all. Well, you're one of the lucky ones that don't have a mental health condition. And those are the people I really want to get to as much, just like the other 2 that are suffering in silence, because they're the ones contributing to the stigma, because they believe since they don't have a mental health condition, they don't want to know what it tastes like, what it feels like to suffer with one. And that's wrong. They need to know so they can help them.
Exactly.
They can help their friends.
Because there's other people.
They can help their friends and loved ones.
Exactly. There's other people that have been around me that have had mental issues, should we say? It's not the correct word to say, but and a lot of
challenges.
Yes, that's better. Mental challenges.
Really good one. My favorite one. We all have them.
Yeah, everyone's got them, but then other people that haven't walked in their shoes, they get stigmatized and they get looked upon, and why should you work here? And they need just a little bit of help, and that's all they need, and then they can go and have a fulfilling life and do whatever they want.
So I'm trying to normalize it, Karen. I'm trying to normalize it that it's no big deal. It's not shame. It's not guilt. And just like in the movie Good Will Hunting with Robin Williams, who won an Academy Award, with Matt Damon, who didn't get it, he played a counselor, Robin Williams, and kept going to Matt Damon. And he kept saying, and he kept on saying, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. And that's the key. Not your fault if you have a mental health condition. It's not your fault you have suicide thoughts. It's not your fault you have an addiction. It's not your fault you have opioid use. But the key is, if you don't do anything about it, it could become your fault. You got to show strength in your body. Even if you're suffering with something, you still have strength inside of you.
Oh, definitely.
You really do. So back to the workshop. So I'm trying to get all the 3 Amigos to help and support one another, to be friends, amigos. And that's really the thing. And the whole idea of why I speak and perform all over, number 1 is to get rid of, not to get rid of, to smash that stigma of mental illness and get rid of the word illness. Get rid of this thing. Get rid of the stigma of mental illness. What else I'm doing? Besides that, having people deal with acceptance and opening up. Tell your stories. Tell you how you're feeling. It's okay to tell people, your teachers or your parents or friends, I'm really, really down. I'm really feeling depressed. And then get the help that you need. And then after that, tell your struggles and your inspirational mental health stories, as I said before, to everybody. Your preacher, your pastor, it doesn't matter. Everybody, it's okay to open up. And then the next thing is, I tell people to use wellness tools from the wellness toolbox, because that's what got me to stay mentally well. I still have, was on the triangle, which I said, the psychiatrist, meds, and the talker. But the most important thing is that didn't get me to the promised land. And I'm not saying anything bad about psychiatrists, therapists, doctors, PhDs. They're all amazing people. But I am a different, relatable resource than they are. I talk the talk. I went through hell for 40 years, which suffering in silence and suffering with my mental health condition. I had a suicide attempt. I have suicide thoughts that I've had for many, many years during those times when I was sick. But the thing was, it was the wellness tools that got me. Meditation, deep breathing exercises, journaling, affirmations, a creed, prayer, God, Bible, Jesus, acupuncture, walks on the beach, hypnosis, acupuncture. You can do everything. There's so many types of wellness tools. Aromatherapy, art therapy, DBT, EBT. There's so many different things that you can use.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and you can do that with your medicine. You can do that with your psychiatrist and with your therapist. And maybe you talk to your doctor and you can wean off some of the stuff and use the wellness tools instead. So you don't have to take so much medicine, or maybe not even have to see a therapist anymore. I'm not saying don't see these people. They're excellent people, psychiatrists, therapists, psychologists. They're all amazing. But I'm a different resource. I'm a different type of player. And the reason is, it's not just using the wellness tools from the wellness toolbox. There's many different reasons why you want to use humor, laughter, and smiles in your mental health. So I'll do one for you right now. You've heard of Match.com, right? You've heard
Yeah.
Do you have Match? I don't know. Are you married?
Yeah.
All right. So you've never been on. You haven't been on Match.com, right?
Not recently, no.
Better not be if you're married, okay? So if you're married, don't go on, okay? It's not a good idea. But for people that that are single or want to see somebody, they have a new site now. It's not called Match.com. It's called MatchMD.com, and it's for people that have mental disorders. So on the normal site, I find a woman that has blonde hair, blue eyes, and likes to dance, right? But now on this other site, I find a woman that pees a lot, has mood swing problems, and anger management issues.
That's me.
What, Karen?
I said, that's me.
I'm in love. I'm in love. And we're going unsteady. Get it? Going unsteady. Have fun with your mental health. It's okay if you're struggling. I'm not saying to make fun that you're struggling with your schizophrenia or your anxiety, but you can have fun even though you're struggling. And not to make fun, have fun. I make it cool. I make it fun. I make it sexy. I make it engaging. I make it humorous. I make it helpful, relatable to talk and work on your mental health and your mental health challenges, whatever they may be. And that's really what it's all about. I don't understand. They make it so difficult that you can still do the triangle. You get support staff. You have support, you get support. I tell people, have a backup plan. All these different things. I go into so many different things in the workshop. You find what's good for you, but try other wellness tools with if you're taking medicine, if you're seeing a psychiatrist, if you're seeing a therapist.
Marvelous. You are such an inspiration, Michael. Where can people get in touch with you if they want to? Because I'm going to stick everything up in the show notes as well. And it's going to be on my Facebook page, my personal one, and my labels page, and on LinkedIn.
I sent you my social handle.
Yeah.
So you can use all that.
Fabulous. I'll put that in.
The best way is to email me. Okay. I am dealing with people all over United States, in Pakistan, in India, which India is really having a tough time.
Yeah, they are.
Really bad time with the pandemic. So they can always get me on M. Weitzman. That's Weitzman is spelled WEITZMAN. So it's mweitzman3@gmail.com. I'm on YouTube. You'll see at Michael Weitzman and Instagram, Weitzman Michael. You can find me all over the social media. I'm very big on LinkedIn, as you can tell. That has been my big social media platform for business, dealing with people in the mental health or addiction world. So that's just one of the things. And why am I doing this? You might say, oh, I want to get big and famous. I want to make lots of money. No, that's not about that.
No, you want to help people.
Now, I made my money and my ex has half of it. So that doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's about what are you doing to use your amazing passion in giving value and helping other people. My case, in the mental health, addiction, suicide thoughts, in that world, the mental health world. That's it. And it's all about, and if I get people say, you help my son, or I'm have a book that I'm still working on, if they read my book, or they saw my documentary, or I'm doing a movie, I want to do a movie on my story, the Three Amigos, a mental health movie. I want to change the world's perception of mental illness and help them with their mental health, tell my story. And the most important thing is, I want people to come back and say, wow, you just helped my daughter. You just helped my dad. That's success. I just changed the person's life. That's and help them. That's what I'm all about. I don't care about the money anymore. I'm 62. I have enough money. It's not about that. A couple of shekels here to do a little bit of other things is great, but I want to help others, and that's my purpose and goal in my life.
Amazing. You are amazing. I just want to go in there and give you a hug and all this long.
I want to let you, Karen, I want you to know, you might say that I'm amazing and I'm very funny and I'm inspirational, but the most important thing is I also get into I forgot to show you, oh my God, I forgot to show you, you got to see Mrs. Staying Alive. Remember her? Here's Mrs. Staying Alive.
There she is.
So Mrs. Staying Alive is basically Patch Adams. Patch Adams meets Mrs. Doubtfire, my little tribute to Robin Williams, and getting rid of the stigma of mental illness using humor. And she's also about, just like my workshop, about equality, equity, diversity, and inclusion for all people, no matter what's going on with them, whether they have a mental health condition, whether they have suicide thoughts, addiction, they have in a wheelchair, have disability, have chronic illness. It doesn't matter, because what? We are all created equal. And I'm changing that world. I want this world in my country and around the world to realize equality is for everyone, no matter what is going on with you. And I'm very big about that. And that's also part of Mrs. Staying Alive and my workshop as well, the Three Amigos of Mental Health.
I just love your passion. I really do. I've just started hypnotherapy. So yes, I have just been putting things out there of where I can help with. So we'll see where that goes. And this podcast to give people a voice, to give people equality. That was me the other day with my mask on because I work in a hospital. And yes, so Michael, thank you for giving up your time today. You are amazing.
No problem.
Oh, you're
I'm amazing, but I'm no better than you. We're equal.
Exactly. We're all amazing together in this mixed up world that we live in.
Thank you for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.